Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's March 1st, and this is the Big Go Belt Podcast. We are live. It's Two Chains here, and I am accompanied by Jamal. You may know him as the Giant Crab.
Yeah.
And making a return to the show, a member of the Big Go Belt Podcast, for any new listeners who just tuning in as of 2018. But he can explain himself in his absence. But Mr. Sellers, what's going on, my man?
It's good to be back. Been a little hiatus, crazy schedules going on. But if you love Cody Rhodes, if you love Mr. Kennedy, if you love The Miz,
sorry about
I love
that.
you.
Sorry about that. That little echo. I had to actually had the video open over my phone as well too.
Oh,
but
no worries.
Yeah. So how's it going? Good to have you back on.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. A lot of news have came out in the wrestling world in the last, day or two. So we definitely have a lot of stuff to cover and talk about. Definitely take a moment and step over to our website, biggobellgroup.com, where you can get all your latest news, catch movie reviews, our podcast, both video and audio, and all the upcoming events and stuff like that. We plan to keep it. Definitely, we just got started this year, so more and more information will definitely be populating it as time goes by. But definitely give a look to it, catch photos and all that other good stuff. So appreciate anybody who's already been visiting, and for all the new people, definitely check it out. But yeah, like I said, a lot of good news was floating around. So I think right now, the first and maybe the biggest topic comes off the heels of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view that happened this Sunday, where we were just going to focus right now on the storyline that's being put together for WrestleMania. Since we are in WrestleMania season, is Roman Reigns actually winning the Elimination Chamber? God, did he get booed out the gym? Braun Strowman had one hell of a performance in there. I thought Finn Balor also had a good outing as well too. For all the people that said Finn Balor was going to be buried this year, because that guy DM decided to report that they pretty much gave up on him. But whatever, that's for another topic. But yeah, so that means Roman Reigns will face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania for the Universal Championship. The news that's coming out is the UFC and Brock have mutual interest in another fight very soon. I'm a UFC fan, and my co-hosts aren't really a big UFC fan, but this is big on a lot of reasons. And I'm gonna start off by saying, before we get into the Brock and Roman thing, is what's for Braun Strowman? That was the match everybody wanted to see. I mean, that's the build we've been getting all year, is Brock versus Braun Strowman for a one-on-one match for the Universal. It looks like it's not happening. Or is it going to happen? Will he be at it? What's next for Braun Strowman?
I only see him being in the Andre the Memorial Battle Royal as a way just to showcase his skills. I know the Andre Memorial Battle Royal hasn't been announced yet, but honestly, that's the only thing where you could put him over, where he can get a big WrestleMania moment and still look dominant. I don't think you want to bury The Miz of how hot he is. I don't think he'll be added to a triple threat, because you've been really trying to put this one-on-one match with Roman and Brock Lesnar for the past 3 years since WrestleMania 31, but it ended up being a triple threat in the end. I really think that's where you see Braun in. It's unfortunate, because I think a Braun victory over Brock Lesnar will make it seem legitimate, of building his character up. And I know that this is what we talked about on the show back in 2017, of how much you're doing the things the right way of building Braun Strowman. But I want to be very careful, or I don't want to be very careful. I think WWE needs to be very careful of how they book him going forward, because it really can mess up his character if it's not booked the correct way, especially going in the grand stage of WrestleMania.
I'm not hearing you, sir.
No sound yet.
We have some technical issues with Mr. Jamal here, and I definitely want to hear his point. Still not hearing you. Still not hearing you.
Is that good?
All right,
there
you're
we go.
back. There you go.
So WrestleMania is more about pageantry and the grandeur of the stage that is WrestleMania than it is about actual wrestling. And if you've been watching Strowman's work over the year, building himself, building his brand and everything like that, then great. I don't think at WrestleMania he has the star power to be in that marquee spot yet.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that he isn't doing what he needs to do as a wrestler to get over with the fan and ingratiate himself as a fan. But WrestleMania is not specifically a WWE event. It is a cultural / entertainment event. And, everything that if you only watch, the Super Bowl and you really don't care about football, then the networks would rather have whoever the two most popular teams are. Same thing with basketball, same thing with baseball, versus Milwaukee versus somebody.
Yeah.
Or, Jacksonville versus somebody. It doesn't mean that they deserve it. Go ahead.
And now I was going to say, and just to add to that too, I mean, when you talk about the lowest ratings for NBA Finals history was the Pistons versus the Spurs, I believe.
I think so, and that was a great series.
Very technical,
really great
basketball, but there's no star power.
But the Spurs are boring, but defense wins championships.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So fair point.
But the thing as it relates to Strowman is that he's not that marketable guy, and he's getting there. I mean, I didn't know he was a face until I watched the pay-per-view and stuff like that. That was crazy.
I mean, catching fans has never been a positive thing in any genre or field in the world, but that is so over. It's crazy,
right?
Especially growing up in the DC area,
right? So, and all of that's well and good. But is he that draw? Is he that big box office draw that Lesnar is for whatever reason, that Roman Reigns is for whatever reason, that John Cena is for whatever reason, that AJ Styles is for whatever reason? I don't think he's in that conversation.
Right. So what do you do with him?
Survivor Series is that show.
Okay.
Like or maybe SummerSlam. SummerSlam is the next
a long
big
time
one.
away.
Yeah. SummerSlam is the next big. I forgot about SummerSlam. But SummerSlam is the next big one in August, and maybe you build him up for then. You need something to get you through the summer while the rest of America is watching baseball and talking about preseason football. You need something that's going to get you from early April to early August.
Sound like
and that's all of May, all of June, all of July.
Good point, Silas. Yeah, definitely a Jinder Mahal experiment. It sounds like here. But yeah, you're right. I mean, you're marketing him. You have to do more on the marketing. You got him the catchphrase. You got him over with the fans, but it's more about the casual fans WrestleMania season. So I totally agree. My likings. I still don't know what to do for him come WrestleMania. I mean, Andre the Giant Memorial, didn't he already win?
No. Last year was Baron Corbin.
And then last year was Mojo, then Baron Corbin.
Well,
Mojo, then Baron Corbin.
Mojo, Corbin, and Antonio Cesaro have won it.
Yes.
And the Big Show, right?
And yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Either way, still not Strowman. Okay. I didn't think about that. Okay. Fair enough. That might be where he's going with that. But yeah, okay. So that that leaves him out of the main event spot. So that leaves Brock Lesnar.
Now, let me cut you off there. Let me ask you this though.
Yep.
Does WrestleMania need Braun Strowman?
Not this year.
No, they don't.
Let me just think about it. What would his entrance be? What could you add to make him larger than he already is? What could you? I don't think, and it's not that like keeping him off the show or anything like that, or sticking him in a spot buries him or denigrates him at all. But the bottom line is that if you're building Brock versus Roman, and if you're building Cena versus the world, the Undertaker pops up and it's like, do we need a Braun Strowman?
It's not that.
Actually, I would save him for the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania.
It's not that we need him, but again, we re-emphasize a lot on the building of him. We would like for him to get the chance. We feel like this has been the ultimate WWE experiment moving forward. So we thought the reward would have been WrestleMania, but yeah, you're right. You're not going to get nothing but maybe some pyro on the entrance, or maybe when he yells out Braun, something like echoes or something through the stage, something corny, But yeah, he's not going to bring a whole like persona or whatever that really adds to the WrestleMania experience. However, he will have to do a crazy destructive spot, and I don't know what's going to top him flipping things he's already done, which can't really be done out in the arena. So who knows? And also too, WrestleMania does not have a good success rate and acceptance rate on hardcore matches as of recently, or street fight matches, which could work for Braun Strowman, but it's not going to work at WrestleMania. But
no, because it would take him 45 minutes to get out of the building.
Yeah.
Right.
So okay. So that goes back to Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. You got the star power in Brock Lesnar. He is the combat sports star power and draw as of right now. That's why the UFC is looking to have him return. Reason why is because they don't have their big stars no more. Conor McGregor, when is he ever going to fight again? John Jones just had a bad hearing. May not see him for a year plus after getting his license revoked and a fine coming, and he still has to hear another hearing from the U.S. Doping Commission,
anti-doping agency.
So that's that. GSP George St. Pierre just returned. Now he's out. And then Ronda Rousey gone. So what is Dana White to do? He needs a big face, a draw, which before the Conor McGregor Jose Aldo fight, I believe it was, Brock Lesnar pulled in the biggest pay-per-view draw in UFC history and also received the biggest takeaway purse from his fight in that fight with Mark Hunt. Although he was suspended, he still did hella good numbers for them. So that brings Dana White back to the table to say, what does he do? They've been seen hanging out in Vegas.
To be fair, though, I think the UFC and WWE measure success by different metrics.
Yes.
Because of the so-called legitimacy of UFC, it's not that we can build towards SummerSlam. They got to get guys out there that can do the work. And you necessarily build yourself as a star by doing the work.
Not true. Not totally true with UFC.
But then that's a problem then.
You definitely want your big hitters to deliver. I mean, you have to hear it from Dana White and them if you don't deliver in the main event. But sometimes, the big names and all the press and build up and all the weigh-in antics and all that other stuff, sometimes the people with the biggest mouths actually become some of the biggest draws. I mean, I by no means am a fan of Chael Sonnen, but this guy religiously gets fights and continuously gets knocked out. But nonetheless, Brock Lesnar did deliver, minus the suspension. He brought in the numbers. He brought in the draw. He's still very, very much a draw in wrestling. Dana White is definitely, they look over at each other's sports for strategic plans and marketing and stuff like that. So he knows what Brock Lesnar is still doing. They've been seen hanging out in Vegas. Brock Lesnar has seeked interest in wanting to fight again. Not fight again whenever, but fight again soon. I just looked over the UFC future upcoming events. There's UFC 224 and 225, I believe, or maybe 225, 226, where the headline match has not been announced. So there is room for him to instantly get inserted into a main event for a UFC fight as in draw.
But I think, honestly, just in the thing of a side tangent, I think this doesn't have to do with WWE or UFC. I think this really, if you can get Brock Lesnar to convert over to UFC, this really helps FS1, in my opinion, the most. And the reason why is if you can get WWE and UFC together in one station, one network, and you can share those superstars across those events, and you maybe have a situation where Dana White and Vince McMahon can agree on using the shared usage of this character, this performer, this athlete, then you're just making a boost for this station. So I think the real winner that we want to think about is FS1. If UFC can make this trigger and try to get WWE, and I know I'm kind of jumping into multiple tangents here, but you're just building a network where you're building two of similar companies and, like Jamal said, going in different ways of how you view that sport. Okay. But it's huge for that.
Hold that thought.
Let me ask you this, though, real quick. That happens in soccer where a player will be bought out and sent to another league halfway around the world and plays there. Hockey. They have a similar problem with the Olympics. They didn't participate in the Olympics this year.
Correct.
Because they were like, well, we don't want our guys to get hurt.
Correct.
So if you're the Capitals and Alex Ovechkin is playing for Russia and he gets injured in the Olympics, what do? That's not something that happened in the U.S. That's not something that happened in their fight. And if Roman Reigns goes into a UFC fight and gets his head taken off, then what does that do for Vince?
Hold that thought too. Hold that thought. I swear I got a good point to that whole thing because it's been done. If you guys aren't thinking about this or not, but nonetheless, okay. So Dana White said there's a good chance that Brock Lesnar does return to UFC, which ultimately I think it does happen. They need him. My question is for you guys for WWE. Now, how do you book this WrestleMania match now? Do you see Roman going over, taking the belt, and it becomes the Roman Reigns era? Then maybe Braun Strowman is then inserted into the picture. We don't get the Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns, the Brock Lesnar Strowman thing, or do you keep Brock with the Universal Championship belt and he goes to UFC with it?
Exactly. That's what I was going to say is going to happen. He'll take that Universal Championship belt, and we all three of us know. WWE loves product placement, so they would take that belt, saying that he's walking away with it, create some new belt that they're going to create for Raw, and then that will be your new world title where you have some type of tournament. Then Brock will come back with the winner of that tournament and mesh these belts into another belt. So once again, it's product placements where they're going to sell the Universal title now. They'll bring that new title up, and then they'll bring this new Universal title together when they combined together just for more product placement, and people are going to buy it up.
What about that rumor of AJ Styles possibly getting brought over to Raw in exchange for Seth Rollins?
Well, is the draft going to happen after Mania? Like,
not so to say a draft, just the semi shakeup. In other words, a rumor. Do you think that helps to your booking here? That AJ now comes over to Raw with the belt if he continues with it. To bring that belt back over to Raw, the A belt on the A show.
That's tough. And I always thought they wanted to keep that A belt on the SmackDown show where you can have at least some legitimacy of why you're having this brand split. Because honestly, if you bring that WWE title back to Raw, then you're going to go back to what you used to do is having one big show split up into 2 different days.
Jamal, to sell his point about the belt carrying over to another brand, do you think that's the WWE's recipe for Pete Dunne in the UK Championship?
I think that's not the same thing. That's not a fair comparison because the UK Championship in England was supposed to be its own thing. It was supposed to be 206 live, and it never happened. So now they got to do something with it. So now they got to do something with it. And they already had partnerships, as you saw in the UK Championship special, with prominent indie feds in the UK. Okay. So that's not the same thing as jump into a completely different sport on a completely different network with completely different guys. But to that point of what should they do with the belt and Lesnar, I say you have him win at WrestleMania and just throw the belt on the ground and just do the whole UFC thing.
The NWO.
And walk out. Go ahead.
Do you think Dana White makes an appearance at WrestleMania?
Would not be surprised.
I mean, that's the thing though. Like if Dana White makes an appearance with WrestleMania and him, Heyman, and Lesnar walk out together. I mean, for people that care about the UFC, and honestly, I could give one, maybe no, there are no fucks to give about the UFC. I don't care. Whatever they do, they have never done anything that makes me give a shit about them. With that said, for those that do care, that would be a groundbreaking moment to see another sports competitor actively involved in wrestling. Yeah. And I know that Dana White is a totally different type of person than Silver from the NBA or Roger Goodell from football. Yeah. So, nobody wants to see old ass, Roger Goodell out there in a suit.
In no sport. In no scene. No one likes that guy. So, okay. So two questions. Number one, do you think that this UFC deal may already have been in place, in fact, for the release of Ronda Rousey?
I think that it's less to do because I don't know Ronda Rousey. She doesn't resonate with me. I don't know how popular she is or how big she is.
Most popular UFC star before last year in Conor McGregor. She carried UFC for maybe 4 to 5 years.
Right.
In fame.
I couldn't tell that from watching the Elimination Chamber.
Again, yeah. I mean, we'll get to her, but what I want to know is, do you think that this whole, hey, can we have Brock for this? We would release Ronda Rousey to you, because Ronda Rousey.
Wait a minute.
She never.
Is that how contract works in UFC?
She never really retired, and yes, it does sort of say work in the sense of like, hey, this is my guy for your guy, just like the Floyd Mayweather McGregor thing. Hey, it'll be under for Mayweather Promotions, but we also want to say brought to you by the UFC, where McGregor gets double of what he would maximum make in the UFC. We get brand placement, product placement all over the fight, all that other stuff to use our star person in your fight. And I'm pretty sure there was a lot of other guarded type of flaws in the contract being done, but there was no way that Mayweather was going to go to McGregor and say, fight me. And McGregor said, yes, I can do it without talking to Dana White. So what I'm saying is that Ronda Rousey never officially retired, that there was still small belief that she was going to fight in the UFC again. But for her ultimately to be released to the WWE, Dana White had to have something to say about it, or something had to be done in order for it to work. Just like SummerSlam last year when Brock Lesnar, I think he came back, or did he fight? I forgot. Whatever happened, that's when you start seeing UFC commercials doing SummerSlam, and you start seeing WWE commercials doing the UFC fight that was happening.
Well, let me ask you this. Are the contracts for UFC fighters similar to that of WWE, where you have an exclusive thing? I know that there's another MMA thing out there that does MMA stuff. So is it like a boxer where even though the fights are sanctioned by the IBC or IWF, whatever it is, WBA and such, the fight just has to be sanctioned? I don't care who the promoter is. Just get it sanctioned. But is it like with Ronda Rousey, she shows up on WWE television, why does she have to call Dana White about that? She's an independent contractor. Whereas WWE signs you to exclusive contracts.
Unable to perform in any type of contact. UFC is the promoter. So I think you got an idea of how that works. So I think there was some I scratch your back, you scratch my back type of thing. They need each other help. Exactly. They wanted Ronda Rousey. They wanted to bring her into it. And we'll talk about Ronda Rousey right now. She is here. She officially signed. She debuted at Elimination Chamber. She definitely stumbled over her mic. She was definitely very, very nervous, but
nervous indeed.
But she was definitely excited.
Was she, or is she just trash?
No, don't do that. She's not trash. Nervous. She can talk. She was nervous. She was about to cry.
She's still an actress.
Yeah. She was about to cry.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Was she really nervous?
She was definitely nervous.
Or definitely, I would say that
just
100%. Trash.
She's definitely nervous.
Definitely nervous.
She's not trash. I mean, she lost.
She's an actress.
She lost 2 fights in the UFC. Everyone loses fights in the UFC. Everyone.
To be fair, you say that she's an actress. Kwame Brown is also a professional basketball player.
Okay,
and that's different. I'm just saying. Apples.
But if Kwame Brown,
and Rob Schneider's a star, I don't want to hear she's still an actress.
If Kwame Brown showed up at the Farms, he's going to ball. I don't care. I don't care if he wasn't good in the NBA. He's going. The dude got looks by Michael Jordan. That means a tad bit of something. No matter what he delivered on that NBA court, the dude has some potential to ball, unless he completely let himself go by the 2018. But no,
works for UPS now. I'm just saying.
He works in the summer for the big 3. Give him that credit.
He did.
You give him that credit.
You're right about that. But no, I mean seriously, she was nervous. She stumbled over Mike. She redeemed herself doing Raw.
She did.
She looked more comfortable. She played the segment good. Kurt Angle looked to be a little off at that.
He looked off Sunday
I got this picture of Ronda Rousey right here. I don't know if you guys can see it.
What don't you like about her? I want to know this.
Honestly,
because you don't care about the UFC, so that
know.
just negates anything that she's done in any.
It doesn't mean anything to me.
Okay.
Fast and the Furious, does it mean anything to you?
No, not at all.
So it's 0 for 2.
No, nor Mission Impossible, which I believe she was in that too. But
She
no,
was?
I mean, yeah, she was. She played like Goon number 3, and she got kicked out of the window in Dubai.
No, that was Fast and the Furious.
That wasn't Mission Impossible?
Nah.
Paul Patton?
That was...
They're all the same movies now.
Yeah,
They really are.
Hey, make sure y'all check out Hurricane Heist. That's gonna be the best movie of the year.
I want to see Red Sparrow, man, based on what you said about it.
That was dope.
I mean, I'm looking for R-Truth and Trey Songz. They got pushed back, so.
It did.
But seriously, she's a Olympic judo champion. She's had a really profound UFC career. She's lost 2 fights, and she got down on herself hard about it because they were big losses. She fought a better fighter, but nonetheless, I mean, it's not like she's coming in and just banking off star power, and she's like what's his name that won the WCW championship?
David Arquette?
Yeah, yes.
Oh my God.
And completely is going to tarnish anything around her. She's been at work, training. She's been in the performance center. And
really?
Yeah. And we seen
because I couldn't tell it by the fact that she when she got her microphone. I mean, I'm just saying, like,
she messed up one time. She's only taught twice.
But she's been in a performance center. It's not like they just said, like, they flew her in that day and said, all right, you're going to be on global television.
Even the Miz stumbled in WWE when it comes to
you're being too harsh now. Come on now. That's that.
Why am I being too harsh?
Even the Miz stumbled.
Because it's only her second time on mic. That's not no reflection on how good her career could be. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely it does. Because you only have one time to make a first impression. And her first impression,
but that wasn't her first impression, though.
It wasn't?
No, I would say her first impression came in UFC. Even though, once again, you're not a fan, her first
impression
doesn't
mean anything until she gets to WWE.
I'm sorry. Well,
she could have performed open heart surgery in the ring and speak dolphin. That doesn't mean anything until she gets to WWE. And when she got to WWE, she laid a fucking egg in the ring. That's what it was.
No,
she didn't.
No, she was nervous.
I would disagree.
First of all, she wasn't even cutting a promo. She just was basically announcing how she felt, and it was legitimate behind feelings, and her being definitely choked up by the applause and acceptance that people were giving her. That does not count.
That's hard.
That was mixed at best.
But Raw,
and also she did this.
Okay, she's coming.
That's everybody has to do that.
She's coming.
Right, and it's fine. Why should I care though? I don't have a reason to care about her.
Okay,
this is her big reveal and her big thing to do.
All right. Well, if you don't care about her, that's perfectly fine. There's a bunch of other marks out there that all of a sudden just don't like her.
People mark out for Zack Ryder too. That doesn't make them right.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Anyway, she's here because she's a big name. She's bigger than any woman on that roster in draw right now.
That's a damn shame.
It's this point flat out period. No one is a bigger draw than her in the women's division.
Shame.
We've seen the conversion of MMA fighters coming over to do wrestling, so we know there's a success rate there. So yeah, there's not a problem here.
What is that success rate? Is it more than 50%?
No, meaning that you can be out, you can survive.
You can perform in the ring. Yes.
You can have a career in the WWE.
Exactly.
Because it's been proven.
No, but you said success rate though.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between stealing a paycheck like Baron Corbin is and like Titus O'Neil is and being successful.
Hold on. Is Baron still on the paycheck?
Oh, Baron Corbin.
Or is he not giving it chances?
Baron, he was definitely given chances. He absolutely was given chances. And
I don't think they gave him enough chances.
Oh my God.
I think they cut the court too short on him multiple times.
He's a donkey. He'll never be a racehorse.
To the point of the question now, Ronda Rousey's here, and it looks like they're getting up to capitalize off of what happened at WrestleMania 31 with the whole Stephanie McMahon Triple H versus Ronda Rousey and her partner. Do you think this is the right booking for her? A very, very, very safe booking.
It has to be.
Is this what you would do with her? or is there something else?
I would send her as NXT.
No, I would. You got to protect her to see what she could do, and then as the match goes on, let her loose if she can handle it. But you don't want to blow her in a big spot like it would be like Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler wasting WrestleMania 27 space. You got to protect her. And if you can protect her with people like Triple H, who arguably, if you like him or not, is one of the best sellers and storytellers in the ring, he can do that for her. Even the little bit where she body slammed him, Triple H took more of that to make it look better than what it could have been.
Agreed.
So, I really think that's the right move you have to do. You put an investment in it, protect your investment, and then let her go as you see what she can do.
Yep.
But if she's so good, then why does she need to be coddled?
She's a name. Is it name over wrestling time?
Well, I never said she was so good as a wrestler. I said she's trained and she's definitely good in MMA. So and in judo. So takedowns and everything like of that sort is going to work in her hands. That's why that was the spot she was given with Triple H, because that's her bread and butter. But my to add to the booking is, I think The Rock does appear here. I think that the whole Kurt Angle thing is this a placeholder for right now. Kurt Angle ultimately gets hurt or jumped and doesn't make it, and Ronda has to look for a partner to come out for this feud. And I think The Rock is going to be the one to answer the call. I think this is safe for.
Why would The Rock be there?
Because that's originally who this was set up with.
Back in 31.
Oh, yeah. I didn't watch that WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So I think this is safe. I think it protects all parties at hand. I think it closes the book on this, because I ultimately think that we're looking forward to the 4 horsewomen of MMA versus WWE fight, which would that would involve Shayna Baszler becoming better on mic, because she's garbage on mic.
But she's good in the ring though. She's good in the ring.
And she has to come up to the main roster. So I thought we might have got Shayna Baszler at the Women's Royal Rumble, so we didn't. No. So that ultimately means that she still has more to do with Ember Moon on NXT. So I think
you're gonna see her at the SummerSlam.
Maybe. I mean, they got time for it. I mean, I think Ronda Rousey's contract is for 2 years or something like that. I'm not sure. Okay. So there's still time, a lot of time to ultimately build that, which is why I think we get in the Bayley versus Sasha match now, because eventually they got to be a tandem again in order to to form a belt. So I wish it was at SummerSlam in Brooklyn, where it all happened the first time, and I think they should be paying homage to what arguably is the best NXT match ever.
So, I agree.
So now that Ronda is here, what do you guys feel is her impact on the business?
That's a hard thing to say, because I don't want to see her as the Brock Lesnar treatment. I don't want to see her like with Paul Heyman. I do want her to like literally build up storylines, build up stables, whatever you want to call it, where she can go against a Mickie James, and she can go against Charlotte, or she can go against a Becky Lynch, and it be legitimate the whole time. I don't want her to be this big old superstar. I want her to be humbled as a true wrestler. If you're a full-time Raw employee, be a full-time Raw employee. Have storylines, contend for a title, win, lose, do what you need to do, and build yourself up to a big moment.
I think her impact on the wrestling business is minimal at best. I think that she will be the Hindenburg of wrestling and fail almost completely and almost immediately. And unless she has some kind of divine intervention, this will be a major bust on the Shockmaster levels. But that's just me.
Yeah, I'm not even by no means gonna pay any attention to what a ridiculous comment that was.
How is that ridiculous? Yeah, I think she's terrible.
How is she terrible? She hasn't even wrestled. You haven't seen her fight in the UFC. You've seen her come out. You've seen her come out one time and make a spot, and one time and cut a promo.
She would need to be Eddie Guerrero in the ring to make up for her lack of mic skills. Because if we
still think she's trash.
Hot garbage. The hottest of garbage. Yeah, Sriracha flavored garbage. Yeah. Now, to be fair, she has not wrestled in the ring, and I've not seen that, and that probably won't happen to another pay-per-view, which I guess is WrestleMania. Now she's got to wrestle before then. Now she's got to do something before then, because they can't just
why do you feel
have her. because she needs to prove herself, or the crowd's going to turn on her. If they just shove Ronda Rousey down our throats, she's going to be a female Roman Reigns.
Bruh. No, she don't. That's exactly what they don't have to do, because that's what they do for big stars. Big stars don't have to wrestle to prove. Brock Lesnar doesn't have to come out and wrestle a match on Raw.
Because Brock Lesnar was the youngest world champion when he won it the first time.
Nonetheless,
Brock Lesnar has a resume in WWE. Ronda Rousey does not.
Nonetheless, right now we're talking about the spectacle in WrestleMania. We're talking about star power, and all we're talking about is star power being on the biggest stage, doing something. Not wrestling a classic. We may get classics, but nonetheless being in that ring. That's it. Right. That's it.
Well, then if that's the case, I'm down for Shaq versus the Big Show. Then I'm also down for the Patriots tight end versus Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, okay, but see, that's the thing. That idea right there is what the idea of WrestleMania is. So it's not far fetched. It actually is like, okay, cool. It's WrestleMania. Why not? I'm not looking for the biggest like. This needs to work good. I mean, Stephanie McMahon versus Ronda Rousey in a wrestling match. Please hold me underwater until I drown for sure. Like I no one wants to see that. But I think that she has potential. She has the star power, and the impact that she will make on the business is she will bring more attention to it. I mean, the Ronda Rousey sounding is being covered and being talked about on numerous sports avenues and channels, and she's already up to 3 shirts already. So they will make money off of her name. She will probably continue to do press and other types of maybe conventions and other things and promotions to help promote WWE. She will probably make an appearance at UFC as a WWE superstar, former UFC champion, stuff like that. All that stuff counts because people are going to be like, hold on, Ronda Rousey's in WWE. I got to see what she's doing. And then on top of that, then you got Ronda Rousey versus Sasha Banks, who they're gonna be like, Sasha Banks, I don't know who she is, but that game is kind of cool. I think I like her. She seems kind of stylish and everything like that. I mean, when Sasha Banks was at the BET Awards in LA,
got a picture with her, Mo. Got a picture with her.
People were like, who's that chick on there? Because she was dressed nice, but no one really knew who she was. I've seen it come across like on Twitter, like, who's that chick on the red carpet? WWE superstar Sasha Banks. Oh, okay. Which ultimately end up, getting her views and attention. So I think Ronda Rousey helps elevate other talent. It's going to create more avenue. I mean, I didn't get to read some of the stuff I saw online earlier about it, but I heard she's already making an impact financial wise. So this is obviously a great business move, especially during the WrestleMania season. So good booking, protecting, and I think that whatever safe match that she, however they work the safe match for WrestleMania is all they need to do. After WrestleMania, the Raw after WrestleMania, then we can talk Jamal. Then we're gonna see what she do. If they keep her under this little blanket and just coming out saying 1 or 2 lines and pointing that shit, then yeah, there's a problem. And then you can have all bits of me for 20 minutes on this drink, chewing me out about how this is not gonna work. Fair deal?
Well, I mean, no, not really. Not at all, because I'm basing my opinion on what I see, and not based on any precedent. And I think there are a lot more wrestling fans like me that don't watch UFC than there are that watch both, or the UFC fans that watch only combat sports. Yeah. So comparing her to Brock Lesnar and whatever her role is in the UFC, that's fine, but it doesn't really resonate until she has to prove herself in the ring in WWE. And cutting promos is job 1. Then getting in the ring is job 2. Yeah. And if she is in the performance center, if she has been training, and this is what we get the first time she goes out there, then, well, she failed on the job training. And that's what it looks like to me. Because don't get me wrong, everybody's taking their first time on Raw, whether they're a professional wrestler or not. But I'm not seeing it. So it'll be interesting to see where she goes from here.
I'll let you take the next topic. The rumors we've been talking about for a while. And this comes about with more speculation with Fox Sports or Fox.
Now, okay, so this is the thing. I think that this would be is a bigger deal than Fish Face wrestling pointing that shit until the next month. She has the face of a carp. Let's be real.
I'm definitely not paying attention to this. Continue.
So the thing is that WWE and their contract is up with NBC September 30th, 2019. So Fox has been made it known. They're coming knocking, and they're interested in putting WWE on Fox television. The rumors have been that Raw could go to Monday nights on Fox live or national television, which would be a huge, you're talking about getting eyes on the product. There's nothing bigger than over-the-air national television that's covered in 98% of the homes in America. That's a big deal. SmackDown could go to Fox Sports 1, which would be another big deal. But the way WWE is presented right now on the Universal Comcast television networks, they don't really have any involvement in it. It's not like we're seeing a Dan Patrick talk about WWE on his show. We're not seeing we see John Cena on today's show, but he's not doing WWE things. So honestly, I would love to see Booker T and Shannon Sharp and Corey Graves on a show on Fox Sports 1. I would love to see a Sunday Fox pregame show for Raw preceding a 2-hour-long Raw on Fox. And I think that would be very interesting, especially, and it's also interesting to know what if ESPN is willing to make a move also. The rumors are is that the UFC will leave Fox. If they can't negotiate, they will have to leave Fox. And then WWE could slip in that spot. Obviously, if you're NBC Universal, WWE losing WWE is a bad move.
It is.
It's a huge deal and a huge void to fill. But if you're Fox, I would be down for the Usos checking in on Skip and Shannon's show and being part of that sports family. And they do sports pretty well at Fox. So it would be an interesting look to see Monday Night Raw on Channel 5 here locally versus like Ring of Honor coming on at 2 a.m. Now, my question to you guys is, A, do you think that WWE should jump to Fox regardless of the money? Should they jump to Fox? Would that be a better fit for WWE on an actual sports network? Or do you think that WWE should scrap all of that and just go completely to the network and test the loyalty of their audience?
Also, too, just to add to the news too. So Colin Cowherd was spotted at SmackDown Live at the Staples Center this week. And he was sitting alongside of Fox Sports president Eric Shanks and Fox Sports talent producer Jacob Ullman. I think I'm saying that right. Which is ultimately pushed this speculation that something's going to be done. Colin Cowherd has also said on his podcast that who knows this could be their next station. Now, granted, he has trashed wrestling for many years, so to see him make an appearance there and to turn his thoughts on it a little bit speaks volumes to what type of backscene push they can ultimately be doing here. Also, too, that they also said that, like Jamal said, like Raw could be shown on Fox. We're not just talking about FS1, period. Not just their sports channel, but Fox. This is on everybody's channel, TV, all over the place. Very, very huge. We've talked about this on the show before. This is the move to go right here. This is the move to go.
I absolutely agree.
And I love Jamal points because no matter if you know it or think about it or not, but Shannon Sharp sitting next to a Corey Graves is good for TV. It's entertaining. It brings legitimate broadcasters together and analysts together to talk about a product. Now, Shannon Sharp played football, but over the time, he learned other sports. He's learned to articulate about the other sports better.
Very good job at it, too.
He's very good. It could be done.
I say Shannon Sharp because he's one of the ones of the
it's a good name to throw out there.
Yeah, 24-hour pundits. Skip Bayless is a turd, and Colin Cowherd is a cockroach on the radio. Let's not be understated. This guy is a weasel. He is the dirt under your fingernails. He's literally called wrestling fans booger eaters
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he doesn't understand the product. So Colin Cowherd can take. He used to be on ESPN, and then he got fired because he's a dick. He can go into a very dark corner and go fuck himself. We don't need him. But since he is sitting next to, because he is that weasel, him, smoozing up the VP of talent relations for Fox and talent acquisition, and the Fox's president for television at a SmackDown live show when they were last in Los Angeles is interesting. And he has kind of turned his tone in a more neutral to positive direction on his show. Is that because he'll be shit-canned immediately if he trashes a $500 million business deal? Well, obviously so.
Well, but that's why the speculation is it is what it is, because it's just like, hey, why do you have to be here? Why are you doing this press? Why are you promote like you like something if some type of deal ain't intimate? There's no reason for you to be there if you don't like it and then nothing's going on. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's to the point. But okay.
But I do say though that because Fox is an actual sports network, with their production values for the football, their production values for soccer and baseball, Fox knows sports.
Yeah,
and they do. And if you're watching this from England, Sky Sports and so on and so forth, Fox Sports Australia, they produce, they're a worldwide sports broadcasting franchise. So, with that said, I think WWE needs to be on a sports network. Does it need to be Fox? Maybe, maybe not. Does it need to be ESPN? Maybe, maybe not. But in other countries, they are on actual sports networks. Mm-hmm. If you've ever watched WWE's not pay-per-view, but the Raw coverage or SmackDown coverage from the UK on Sky Sports, they have in-studio panelists because they don't show a lot of commercials in England. And they'll have those guys talk about what we just saw and set up the next match because they're waiting to go back from commercial break. And so, a lot of those things are interesting that we just don't do here because we show commercials instead. So I think that could be interesting on an ESPN or Fox.
But here's the one bad kicker, though. Here's the one bad kicker. If WWE used Fox, and I agree with you, everything that we just said, as far as, what it could do, big boom, have a sports network. The presentation that Fox does well is great with baseball and football. But here's the one thing that's going to be a kicker. You won't be able to use Fox like that every weekly episode because they end their shows earlier at the 10 o'clock spot. So are you going to be willing to risk losing time frame for that if you switch to that sport? Because if you do FS1, you might get 3 hours. If you use Fox on the TV show, you might only get 2. That might be money that you're losing.
We want 2 hours, and we want the rest to be on the network if it goes over time. We want people to go back back to the network to see the.
Remember when they did that though? They said for bonus coverage, join us to the network immediately. Yeah, and it was 10 minutes of filler. Yeah, I don't see why they can't do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They need to do that. Now, look, let me answer what I was going to say earlier to Silas's point. Now, this is great. And I think it's ultimately a great thing. When you start talking about being able to borrow talent from the UFC to WWE, as far as what I don't know if you want to call cross promoting or whatever type of deal may be going on, it doesn't measure success because Bellator and TNA did it on Spike TV. Okay, and that did not help elevate King Mo. King Mo as a wrestler, and it didn't help Bobby Lashley as a Bellator MMA fighter. And there were some other people involved in that as well. It didn't help none of them. It didn't even help the respective brands as well. Ultimately, we're Spike TV because nothing ultimately helped them. So I don't think you want to work it that way. I think you want to work it the way that they're doing it now, where it's just like this person is signed to the UFC and that's what it is. Mm-hmm. Or this person has back on WWE, it is what it is. But it's not one of those, well, Brock is on a loan to the UFC and we're going to cut promos about that and blah, blah, blah. And Brock lost on, and you don't want to do that. Just keep it separate enough that it's separate, but close enough that you guys are using each other's promotional tactics to help promote each other's brand, but not sort of say like Brock this and Brock's over here and Brock's doing that type of thing. You don't want to do that. So. But this is a great idea, and I hope it gets done. To hell with USA Network. To hell with the 3-hour Raw. point blank. Just get it out of there. Let's get this 2 hours sharp going and see if they can bring ratings back to the way it deserves. And I think all the extra material and showmans and shows we can get. I mean, it'll be great. I mean, I would love to see Renee Young get another shot at something like Talking Smack, but actually on TV in something like Undisputed. So it'll be cool, you know?
Absolutely. Guys, I got to go ahead and jet now. But I'll say this in part, and I know I'll be back next week. One thing I do want to wish for the WWE is make sure that they can, and this is just like future booking, if they can build up their WrestleMania card now, it'll be great so they can try to solidify the storylines, because I think what's been failing in the last couple of WrestleManias is putting things together at the last minute too short. I just hope they go ahead and start booking up storylines now where they can make the stories feel legitimate. And I really hope it's not a 6-hour show.
Aren't they doing that?
Let me ask you a quick question before you get out of here. The Usos, arguably the hottest tag team in WWE right now. Correct. They are also known as the pre-show kings for WrestleMania, or not even on WrestleMania last year.
Correct.
What did they do with them this year? And do they actually make it to the main card?
I would love to see a ladder match for the tag team titles, where you have the New Day, the Bludgeon Brothers, the Usos, as well as
the Fashion Fouls.
No. American Alpha 2.0.
Okay,
yeah. I would love to see those four go at it. I think in a match like that, you just have to showcase what all four of those tag teams are either building up to or what they have built over the past year, and just put them all together and let them go at it. You're in an indoor facility. I think that can happen. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Usos still win that match, but you have to give them some type of sentiment or send-off for having a great year from WrestleMania 33 to WrestleMania 34, because they've just been the greatest team that you've seen, over time, but especially this past year.
Let's not forget that a tag team ladder match happened last year as well, too. So you actually saying they should rebook the match they did last year.
Rebook the match, because when you knew the Hardys were coming in, you knew they were going to win. It took every other tag team and just put them to the ground when the Hardys debuted. This one is a legitimate match for those tag teams that has built themselves up over the past year, or they're trying to build themselves up. And I'm talking about the Bludgeon Brothers.
Okay. Sounds good. Catch you next week, my man.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Take it easy. Take it easy.
See ya.
All right, crap. So Usos. Any comments on that?
I've actually not seen them wrestle in a year, so I don't know what they're doing.
All right, well, that's it for my topics. What do you? Oh, actually, I mean, it's not really such a topic, but my question is, and I guess I'll just make a remark on it too. Is 205 Live made a turn for the better? Are people watching? I think the product is ultimately better under the tutelage of Drake Maverick. The matches feel better. They're not so much just regular filler matches, and they weren't showcased on Raw, which puts emphasis on 205 Live. I'm liking what's going on currently, and the matches have been good quality. So hoping to see a lot more. I think WrestleMania obviously is the proving point for them to show that all this building under the new tutelage of Drake Maverick is for something. They put on a really high quality match at WrestleMania. I mean, last year we got Neville versus Austin Aries, which was a great match. I would love to see Cedric Alexander at WrestleMania for sure. So we'll see what happens with that. What do you have for us, Mark? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I've not watched 205 Live in about a year. But if it is getting better, great, because it really shouldn't get any worse. But I do think that, of course, a fan of a lot of those guys, and I really do hope that they get a legitimate spot in WrestleMania. And but WrestleMania is a thing, and it's a long enough show already. Should 205 Live have their own show? And I know that that's not going to happen this year. But realistically, if you're trying to make 205 Live a separate brand with a different feel and a different look, with different guys, shouldn't they have their own 2-hour special at WrestleMania weekend somewhere? Maybe make a 4-hour long event with NXT TakeOver, or a 90-minute event, instead of, another 2-hour show. So I don't know. I'm not sure if they're ready for that. I honestly haven't watched the product, but I don't see how just inserting cruiserweights into the show helps them, other than just getting eyes of them. And the show is already 12 hours long anyway.
Yeah. So my liking to 205 Live is that they're using talent from all over, UK people, new people from NXT, and just good pairing and good matches that showcase people that haven't really got a chance to showcase what they can do, and good lengthy quality matches. So but
that's what we've been saying that we wanted for a while now. No,
for sure. And I do agree with your point. I feel like they got a little cold feet with the 205 Live tour. Also with the plague of Enzo Amore, that also ultimately hurt them as well too. We'll see. And I feel like the attitudes change, the tones change, and hopefully a lot of the fans can get behind it to witness the greatness that's happening, because I think that besides what's happening in the ring, the crowd can play a part in the broadcast as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, a bad crowd can definitely bring down a stellar match. And The Miz, part of his thing, and it was legitimate, being put on in the pre-show when the doors opened to SummerSlam, and there were 15 people in the crowd. Yeah, they could put on a 5-star match, but if you don't, part of that crowd interaction is key as far as building.
And I was going to say, before you get to your topics, 2 things I'm glad that came out today. Number one, the beach ball thing. Thank God they banned that crap. I'm so sick of that. I'm so sick of that. And
I love Beach Ball Mania.
And to the knuckleheads that was fighting at Elimination Chamber, I hope they all spent the great night in Las Vegas jail. no better place to spend your holiday than the Sin City prison system. So good luck to them.
Why did they ban the beach balls?
Why do you think? Too much emphasis on it, taken away from the match. It hijacks the match, so to say, and commentary as well. It's just,
well, let's be honest. If your match is boring, if it's not booked correctly,
it's not.
Well, what was the match?
Because it's not justified. It's not justified. I think it was happening during the Bray Wyatt and Broken Matt Hardy, which was a great match. So there's no excuse.
Was it really a great match?
It was a good match. It was a good match.
Wait a minute. Was it great or was it good?
Good. It's a good match.
Yeah, if it was a good match, break out the beach balls.
No,
if it was a great match, then you would watch it.
Don't believe anybody who's listening. Don't believe this guy because he does not.
No, you don't have to believe me.
No, I'm
not interested in whether people believe me or not. I'm saying that personally, speaking for only this guy right here, that if it's, I went to the bathroom during Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. I did not watch that match. I do not care.
Hit me with the beach ball, okay? Just like that.
Well, okay, so we covered a lot of the topics that I was going to bring up as far as the news goes.
Yeah.
Because they are, other than Ronda Rousey, they are pretty important. The one thing that I thought was interesting that I didn't see, locally here in Washington, D.C., we are getting our first NXT show. So it's about damn time. It would come as close as Bel Air, Maryland, which is about an hour and 20 minutes or so.
Not DC.
In the middle of nowhere, northeast of Baltimore. But they're coming here. They're coming to the new place, the Anthem at the Wharf, and tickets are actually on sale
tomorrow.
Right now. No, right now. If you have the
I think it ended at 8, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought it ended at 10.
Okay, it was 10 to 10.
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay, well, if you've ever bought tickets before, by now if you're trying to get tickets this late for the first wave, then all the tickets are gone. Wait for tomorrow morning to get to get the extra wave of tickets that comes out. Tickets are on sale anywhere from $25 to $80. Anthem, I went there this past Sunday. Beautiful arena. It's not fair that we're just now getting NXT live in DC, because we have other arenas in the area that's nice and also very suitable. But Anthem is on point. Hope to see a lot of people there. You definitely want to.
I mean, just to clarify though, the Anthem is a concert hall. It's not specifically an arena, so it's only maybe about 2,500 people max. And there are floor seats, and floor seats for $80 for NXT is actually pretty damn good. And personally, I really can't wait for that pop that Velveteen Dream is going to get.
Oh, at home. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's going to be big. So I'm definitely very interested in that.
Good point.
But I've been to an NXT house show before. It's not bad, but for the value though is,
Oh yeah, I mean that's why I can't wait for NXT New Orleans to come by, so we can see ultimately what manifests from that. So you ultimately can see what's going to happen at DC, which will be a live recording. So it's going to be awesome. For anybody who's never been to Anthem before, it's a beautiful arena. You can't really go wrong in views, and definitely the high rise that looks over and stuff, very beautifully done. A lot of space between your seats and the next person beside you. It's state of the art, and because it's a music hall, the acoustics in it, I mean, it's gonna be a great experience in there. So I definitely look forward to that. But yeah, again, NXTtickets.com, I believe it is NXT Live Tickets or something like that.
WWE.com/tickets. Yeah, and you scroll down to the date, which is April 19th. You can get the tickets for DC. If of course they're not available right now, they go on sale to the general public tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Yep. What else you got for us?
A couple other things. Guess who got arrested?
Enzo Amore.
Oh no! I mean, unfortunately, he's not in prison yet, but he's still out there. But Sonny, Tammy Stitch, she got arrested in beautiful Monmouth County, New Jersey. She has a couple of failure to appear in court charges, which have like a couple $1,000 fines. So she was originally arrested for contempt with disobedience and resistance. Posted bail was set at $2,500. So good for her. She's she was arguably one of the first divas, and she has definitely turned a corner as far as her post wrestling career. That was this just came in from New Zealand. Bailey did an article with News Hub, which is like a news website, aggregate website out of New Zealand. And Bailey talks about one Miss Ronda Rousey. And you can read the article on News Hub's website, newshub.co.nz. But she says, and I quote Bailey, "She's not taking my spot. She's not stopping me from achieving my dreams because she's here. She's touched so many people from different worlds of sports. People want to see Ronda Rousey because she's an attraction, I guess. I have people come to me at the gym and say they want to watch because they're big UFC fans. I don't feel like she's taking the spotlight away from us. If anything, it's pushing us to be better because she's getting that spotlight. So we have to push harder to keep our spot."
Amen.
Now, let me ask you this, though, because I've never seen Ronda Rousey do whatever she does. How do you book her in the ring? Should she be a more well-rounded wrestler, or should she just be this UFC badass like Brock Lesnar?
I got to think about that for a little bit because
because what she came out as like this goofy kid that found like $1, on the street, and she's the happiest kid in the world. And then, so that bit of business aside, if she's the serious ass kicker, UFC Ken Shamrock type, I guess, should she be that person in the ring?
I'll think about that. I'll get back to you on that one. I don't want to just blurt out anything. It's a legitimate question.
Yeah, no, because for a lot of people, and I'm speaking for the people that have never seen her, for a lot of people, this will be her litmus test. Whatever she does in the ring from now until the end of time will be how we define her in WWE. So
yeah.
And that's very important to get off the ground running in a good direction.
Yeah.
Which is why I think that she needs to wrestle before WrestleMania so that we can at least give us a taste, because I don't think until somebody shows me numbers that says that a large majority of WWE fans watch UFC also, I'm under the impression that people know of her but don't really know her.
That's fine. That's the same thing I've been saying about Ricochet. And everybody all of a sudden is a big fan of him. Nonetheless, I'm just going to segue into something real quick. I read earlier, apparently that the WWE is interested in indie stars Walter and Keith Lee. I don't care if this is remotely true or if this is all the way true. if you have not seen these guys now, you better catch them on the indies before they get into the machine. Because Dijak is another great star that's in WWE in the NXT system. We haven't seen him yet on TV yet. And he's great. I could almost promise that it will be the same if either one of those two was to get signed by WWE. Meaning, if you legitimately want to see these guys and rumors like this is swirling around, get out and go see them. Make that your priority of things to do come New Orleans. Go see those guys. And I think they might be working on the same.
Well, Keith Lee's definitely working the Progress show. I mean, I'm definitely working the Evolve show. Walter's definitely working the Progress show. I'm not sure if they're both on the same card at the same time.
There's something else I thought I saw them on.
They may both be a Joey Janela's show.
Yeah, that could be possible. So I'm very excited. By all means, if that's to come that
makes me both happy and nervous at the same time.
Yeah, I know it. That's why I don't even want to talk about nothing else. I saw it. I was like,
realistically, for the money, for all of that that goes with it,
sprinkle some sage. Oh yeah, good. Definitely check out our interview with Keith Lee. It's not a cheap plug. The guy's one of the nicest guys ever, but one of the most legit big man wrestler that does everything Ricochet does, but weighs 4 ricochets.
But realistically, though, does Vince McMahon want a Brock Lesnar, or does he, which is what a Walter would bring to the conversation, or does he want or would he use Keith Lee to all of his talents? And that's the same thing. Like Keith Lee, if is like a Dirk Nowitzki type, he is a big man. He can play multiple different positions on the court, and he can do whatever he wants. Donovan Dijak, same thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. We need to see what happens with Dijak. We need to make sure Triple H is in more control of things, and then then we could talk that. That's why I said I don't have much more to say on that. I think my only other thing that I was going to report or say something about was the Bailey thing, which is Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio, rumors of him actually getting ready to sign his WWE contract, maybe to appear at WrestleMania. There's been rumors of him facing John Cena. There's been rumors of John Cena facing the Undertaker. Apparently, they just don't know what to do with any of those guys. Rey Mysterio comes back. Cool. Does he work John Cena? Cool. I don't care. But I would be very, very interested if Rey Mysterio did ultimately return and he faced the returning Neville. I mean, I think that would just be badass. But who knows? But Rey Mysterio rumors are floating around. This is one of those. Let's just wait and see, y'all. Please don't. Everybody wants to be like the first person to say, "Oh, he's going to fight Cena," because Cena doesn't have anything to do. Really? Come on now.
Well, I mean, again, I know that a lot of people are looking at WrestleMania as like the season finale of the wrestling season. This is it. This is what people work towards. But there's also literally, 20 hours later, the night after WrestleMania Raw.
Good point.
So if we're going to have Rey Mysterio in a one and done, type of deal, and Rey Mysterio can still go. If you haven't seen him in Lucha Underground, if you haven't seen him on indie scene, you haven't seen him in England, he's still working. It's not like he stopped. And he looks better than ever, arguably. With that said, people just like to throw out Cena because he's a popular guy. People like to throw out, a person because he's a popular guy. Do we really need The Undertaker versus Cena? Like, The Undertaker's 50 plus, Cena's 40 plus. Do we need, AJ Styles versus, the Great Muta? We don't. I mean, just because these things could happen, Muta, but just because these things could happen doesn't mean they have to happen.
Exactly.
And I wouldn't want to see, and I'm not a fan of his per se, but I wouldn't want to see a less than Undertaker come back. I wouldn't want to see, my favorite basketball player come back to sign a one-day contract, and he's 57 years old.
Yeah, no matter what, I would not want to see a Michael Jordan sign an exclusive playoff contract to pair with LeBron James to take on the Warriors. That's just far-fetched, and no one needs to see it just because it's a possibility and he is seeking interest in returning. Who cares? Like, make it make sense, guys, please. Right. And Rey Mysterio looks like in some of the best shape that I ever seen him in. So hopefully he doesn't end up on that report that Roman Reigns is allegedly getting ready to be released. So if that does happen, we will break news with that ASAP to talk about it.
I will be in my festive white linens and party hat. It's going to be a celebration. I'm having cake. There will be cake at the house if you want to come over.
Any closing remarks before we get out of here?
I'm as soon as we're done here, I'm going to finish my review of Death Wish. I saw that on Tuesday, and I have some thoughts. So BigGoldBeltGroup.com, and you can check that out in about a half an hour or so.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's all I got. Thanks for tuning in. This was a great show. Definitely got a lot of the hot topics going on. And again, be sure to step over to the website, BigGoldBeltGroup.com, for all your latest news. Like I said, movie reviews and upcoming events, podcasts, all that stuff is all on there. So definitely get on there and check it out. And then you can catch us every Thursday, 8 p.m. Standard Time. So thanks for tuning in. For 2 Chainz and Mr. Giant Crab Jamal himself, we'll catch you guys next week.
See ya.